Welcome travellers, it's Namo60 with you once again. Within the Brony community, which I at least in some ways consider myself to be a part of, there's been quite the uproar about how Howard Stern has been representing our particular fan base, using those who would make pornographic material of these cartoon ponies to represent the majority of us. Using an example of an average fan, of which of course we have backlash to send a clear message that no, they are not the average fans, and we do not deserve these negative connotations that he may be placing upon us. They are the fringes of the fan base, and we should not be judged on that single quality. Now, whether he is just trying to get a reaction from people, as is the word the shock jock, I don't know. I don't know who he is. I've only just heard of these comments, so I don't have the information to make that judgment. However, I frequently grow tired of having to explain to people that we are just ordinary people who enjoy a cartoon intended for a different demographic than us. And yet the remarks of how we must be creepers who want to be 9-year-old girls just keep coming from people. Why? To me, this sounds all very familiar. When I was in high school, I was asked time and time again why I still watched cartoons, having recently got into anime, why I still watched any other children's show that I may have still watched at the same time. It seems that with every new decade we have a new fan base that our culture looks down upon because it is not considered socially acceptable for someone of our age or general demographic to enjoy. Whether it be video games, cartoons, Star Trek, Dungeons and Dragons, and so on and so forth, there will always be those who narrowly define gender roles that we must fit in, otherwise there is something very wrong with us. As the LGBT community is frequent to highlight, gender is not so simply defined. Just because you're a man does not mean you cannot like wearing pink or enjoy cooking or have long hair. I'm using these specific examples because these things were once very clearly defined as female, as something that women should do or have rather than men. A woman should be a homemaker while the father goes out to work. These ideas that you should do something because you are considered a man or a woman have changed so drastically when you compare them to decades past. And yet we still hold to many narrow ideas of what is categorized someone as being either masculine or feminine. You can clearly see in people like Zinnia Jones, who they may be as a sex male, but they express themselves in their gender identity as a female. They consider themselves female even though they are born males. So as such, I would say to the Bronies that we have absolutely nothing to fear. If I can get a Rainbow Dash t-shirt and gladly wear it in public. We do not need to do anything other than act the same way as we already do. Because those who would judge us based on the fringes of our fan base clearly are not trying very hard to challenge these sex role stereotypes which has been with us for so long. Adult males liking a show intended for elementary school age girls is a very new concept. It shakes many people because of such longly held ideas of masculinity. There will always be those who are narrow-minded, the narrow-minded few, who will not look beyond the blinders they put on themselves. This is not to suggest that any male who doesn't like My Little Pony is instantly a sexist or someone who's just conforming to traditional gender roles. Gender can be expressed in a large multitude of ways. It does not need to be defined exactly by what we do and don't watch. So you are no less of a male or a female if you enjoy any not much or little things intended for the opposite gender as you. The best way to really combat this is just to be you. Those who want to see what we are like and see how your everyday fan reacts as compared to those on the extreme end, and understand that one section of any fan base does not represent us all. Just as gender identity is a much broader spectrum rather than black and white categories, so too is another fan base targeted by people needing to look down upon us for whatever reason. When people like Howard Stern judge us unfairly, don't worry. Because when people come investigating our existence, they're going to see the reality does not match up and quickly drop these preconceived notions that have been placed upon us. And then tomorrow, the next idea of the shifting fan base comes along by the next popular media and it's going to start all over again. Such is the way of the world. I bid you safe travels.